everyone. Welcome to Uganda and Philippines, an investment opportunity. Here's my outline for my presentation. And this slide we talk about the history of Uganda. British protectorate and stayed that way for 70 years. In 1962, the country declared independence, ushering in a quarter century of political turmoil and violence. Obote and Amen, 1962 to 1985. The Uganda Protectorate. Recent events in Uganda have made evident the difficulties likely to be faced by any colonial power. As a result, the British government appoints in 1899 Assistant Administrator Harry Johnston as a special commissioner to Uganda. His brief is to recommend the most effective form of administration. Britain grants Uganda full internal self-government in March 1962. In the following month, Obote is elected Prime Minister. It is he who negotiates the terms of constitution under which Uganda becomes independent in October 1962. In January 1986, the NRA is in control of the capital, Kampala. Museveni proclaims a government of national unity with himself as president. In 1995, new constitution that limit executive power to the national resistance movements. Here is the Uganda's and Philippines flag. Next, we talk about the history of Philippines. Philippines is named after King Philip II of Spain, and it was a Spanish colony for over 300 years. In 1898, there was a war between the USA and Spain in which America defeated Spanish fleet in Manila Bay. In June 12, 1898, Philippines declared their Independence Day. However, as part of the peace treaty, Spain ceded the Philippines to the USA. Current president in the Philippines right now is Rodrigo Duterte, which now declared war against drug pusher in the country. Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs has killed thousands in the Philippines, but it's winning praise from China. The country has made a great progress for the last 15 years. The country has made a The GDP of Uganda has increased by a factor of 4 since 2000. However, in 2015, the GDP slightly declined and made only 26 billion. The GDP of the Philippines is 10 times more than Uganda's. In 2015, the GDP of the Philippines made at least almost 292 billion, while in 2000 it was only $81 billion. Consequently, consumers' incomes have increased more than twice. It shows that consumers' spending had grown. On the other side, Uganda's GDP and GDP per capita are too small in comparison with such developed countries as the USA. The constant growth of the GDP per capita means the level of income of the population has been increased, and their spending capacity has been improving either. By comparing Philippines and Uganda's GDP, it is possible to say that the consumer's capacity is greater in the Philippines than in Uganda. Uganda's literacy rate of male youth is 89.6%, almost 90%, while the literacy rate of female youth is 85.5. In comparison, in the Philippines, the education rate of male and female youth is higher. It makes 95% for males and almost 99% for females. The net attendance ratio of secondary school participation in the Philippines is 55% for males and 77% for females. Therefore, the labor market in the Philippines is more promising since Filipinos are more educated and skillful than Ugandans. This slide it shows the economic development. The healthcare in Uganda is worse than in the Philippines. Thus, only 30% of the population in Uganda contraceptive prevalence made 30% births attended by skilled health personnel was 58%, and antenatal care was 48% of the WHO region. In comparison, in the Philippines, contraceptive prevalence made 49%. Antenatal care was 78% and births attended by skilled health was 72% of the whole region. Consequently, the company may risk by the health of employees by conducting the business in Uganda. The comparative analysis of the infrastructure of the Philippines and Uganda shows that the quality of port infrastructure, electricity supply, air transport, infrastructure, roads, and railroad infrastructure is higher in the Philippines than in Uganda. Political stability. Both Uganda and the Philippines rank among the countries with the lowest rule of law. These countries face serious problems with a number of issues. Given that Uganda was a British colony, the Ugandan legal system was built upon British legal system and laws, especially the English common law. However, Uganda also maintains its African identity with the introduction of African customary law that operates side by side the English common law. Customary law is only relevant and applied when it does not conflict with the statutory law. The Philippines have pretty much the same problem, but essence in the fact that the political power in the country is divided between the numbers of families. Therefore, nepotism and cronyism are common things in the Philippines. Governmental institutions. People get assigned and promoted based on their connection and family ties, not talents or input. Initiated the process of reformation of the economy of the country that was ruined by the Civil War. The reforms aim to stimulate the growth and export of goods and services. Export of copper represented 70 to 80% of exports and up to 50% of government revenue and still constitute a decent part in the country's export. Uganda's policy is aimed in stimulating the level of agriculture sector as coffee, tea, tobacco, and the main export products. Within the next several decades, the Philippines managed to build one of the biggest export-oriented economies in the region. Philippines concentrated not only on the production of traditional agriculture goods but also focused on the technological products. In contrast, the Philippines did not engage in any significant privatization processes. However, the country is using privatization mechanism to attract private sector into social projects. Business in the Philippines. The number of payments in Uganda and the Philippines are almost 3 times more than in US. That makes it complex and time consuming. The Philippines is facing a problem with taxation, having almost the highest tax rates in the region and extremely small caps that causes numerous people with low income being taxed at high rates. Countries face a significant transaction problems, which is corruption. Graph 19 demonstrates the poor rating of Uganda and Philippines. The common problem presumes bribery, political patronage, nepotism, etc. Corruption weakens the competition and ruins the basis of the market principles. Bribes and bureaucracy increase the transaction cost of the companies who tend to operate with the legal frameworks as they lose time and opportunities while others benefit from preference. Unfortunately, the above mentioned measures and active involvement of international organizations did not provide any visible result on the level of corruption, which remains a significant problem for the economic development of these countries. Philippines is the best choice uh, to start the business. It is recommended to start the business in the Philippines since this country has higher level of economic development. The GDP rate and GDP per capita rate is much higher in the Philippines than in Uganda. The level of inflation is lower in the Philippines than in Uganda. The population of the Philippines has higher level of income than Ugandans. It gives them more opportunities to get higher education, better healthcare, and run business. The higher rate of literacy, education, and healthcare create better environment for the development of business in the Philippines. Since the company can hire local, educative, and skillful employees for work, besides there would no risk for the company's managers' health to work in the Philippines. Again, thank you for listening.